So then, put your cards on the table and set them aflame. The world is beige, it's midday soap opera bilge, this life, there are things you need to explain. You see, are a Leonard Cohen song that was too hard to write, so you were left unsung. You're a glitch in the matrix, and if they don't get that reference, mate, they're too young. You're the taste in the mouth after 3 days of drinking, the glitch in the brow when an armed man is thinking, do I pull the trigger or give myself in? You're the blow to a bystander's chin in a fight. You're the endless night in which rats run amok and sick bargains are made. You're the A-bomb in heaven. You are a last grenade. You're the girl next door supposing you live next to Satan himself, the record too extreme for Charles Manson's shelf, and here you sit awaiting an answer. After thousands of years on the warpath, slaughtering those with debts unpaid, less of a woman and more of a last grenade. Put your cards on the table and set them aflame, aware that you are a fire they will never tame. The answer will be no or yes, and the lino cracks and the concrete crumbles and the earth on your behalf feels sore until you hear the right answer, which is, my friend, tell me more. Thank you. Hi there everybody, my name's Genevieve. I used to live in Manchester. It was for quite some time. I don't live there anymore, but what that basically means is I still have a residual amount of resentment for Liverpool FC, even though I don't give a shit about football. So, I'm going to show you a genuine Mancunian object now. This is a glow stick. I purchased it from Jilly's Rock World down the road 9 years ago, and until a few months ago, it was still wrapped up underneath my bed, where it had been for 9 years. Broken Glowstick Boy was yanked from his wrapper in a cloud of laughter. Remember these old things they said? Oh, that takes me back. But the trip down memory lane was somewhat taken off track when the customary crack led to whatever the hell that is, some kind of orangish brown, a colour that even Elton John would turn down. You see, Broken Glowstick Boy has been shrink-wrapped in purgatory, waiting for that all-encompassing tune so he could circle the room. No one's got the guts to tell him, but the club's a Tesco now. So he looks around at our quaint settings, at our photo frames, our cups of tea, and his eyes well up instantly at the sight of our domestic reality. Swing me, he says, come on, swing me. Just one more time for old time's sake. Oh, Broken Glowstick Boy. No. If I so much as give you a shake, your shoddy plastic skin will rupture. I'm sorry, but you're just not something I could keep. When he gets to landfill, he will be the prettiest thing at the top of his particular heap, and I'm sure he'll be happy. He'll have a lot of cool stories to tell the seagulls. He'll charm the arses off those headless G.I. Joes. In a club that will never bar him, never shun him, never shortchange him, and never, ever close. Thank you very much. So then, yeah, as I said, I had that under my bed for 9 years, and that wasn't actually an experiment I was carrying out willingly. I'm just a bit of a messy fucker. And messy fuckers don't really get enough of a good press as far as I'm concerned. And so this I'm going to give you is a love poem for the terminally badly dressed and disorganised, and it's called You Sometimes Fall Off Chairs. It's a massive understatement to say you're inconsistent and your sheer lack of manners is the only universal constant. And you sometimes fall off chairs. You're my sense of adventure's very own eminence grise, but no one's ever going to really get you unless I boil you down to the following terrible similes. You're like a B-movie that's so shit it's good. You're like the sensation of finding 20 in your pocket when you thought you only had 5. You're as elegant as an elephant falling down the stairs in stiletto heels, and you are warm. Oh, you are warm. As warm as Piccadilly Wetherspoons when the drinks are 2 for 1. I snap my fingers, I strike that match and I begin Act 2, because I used to dream of pastures new, of running to the beach in a snowstorm naked, crunching through Estonian snow. But our survey says a resounding no, because the flowers and the pastures all seem dead, and I want to take a holiday inside your head, because you are a walking tempest, and you sometimes fall off chairs. Thank you. So then, I grew up in the 1990s. Did anyone else here have that dubious pleasure?
Yeah.
In the 90s? If you could sum it up, maybe, young lady at the front there, in one word, the 1990s, what was it like?
Trashy.
Trashy. That's a very, very good one. I was just expecting a random swear word plucked out of a hat there, but you got class, lady. Yeah, it was quite trashy. You see, we remember it for what it was rather than what the TV would have you believe it is for. The TV would have you believe that it was neon, it was acid house, it was brilliant. Whereas we know that it was just a 10-year period in which there was no fucking broadband. So yeah, this is a poem about the 1990s and what it was really like, and it's called Retrosanct. This is you. Greying, grease-stained Formica table, juddering, mismatched, poorly stitched, hitched over walls, TCP in the wounds and hooch in the veins. Proof that the holder of the palette of your colours is just cat-handed. You are monotony in its right hand, man disbanded. You are monstrosity rebranded. Tactless, toothless, belligerent, swooning, truthless, you. I witnessed the heart shape drawn carelessly next to your name, and it sweats Fanta and chunky teletext blocks, and it mocks the scabs in the pavement slabs and the chewing gum dance shoe pressed, and all of those apologies from BBC Northwest. This is you, and in limbo lies the whip, and your whip crack sounds of stalled engines, slurred northern homonyms, insults in every guise, every hue. Yet you keep coming to my door. Well, answer me this, what are you for? 'Cause I need something to miss. Not just you and your nauseating Ross Rachel kiss. I don't want your Titanic platitudes, or a heart shape on your just 17 mugshots. I just want to clunk, click, screech, click, rewind, and make you watch yourself, remember those things you forgot. Thank you. So then, this isn't so much a poem really as a plea from every vegetarian on earth. We know that we're fair game, we don't mind you taking the piss out of us. What we do mind is being compared to Hitler. So I'm going to start this off by asking you all a question. Is anyone here a painter, or failing that, any kind of artist? Well, if you are, no one wants to admit to it. Okay, well what I will invite you to do now is just imagine that we are all at a rather swanky dinner party, and I've just been introduced to a friend of a friend who is an artist. So, Dave tells me you're a painter. Ooh, that's not good. You know who else was a painter, don't you? Hitler. In between the genocide on his routine, he used to brutally take that brush to the canvas. So don't give that harmless artistry spiel to me, you are a Nazi. I see from your profile picture that you're quite keen on your dog. You know who else liked his dog, don't you? Hitler! That's right. He regarded the life of every man's best friend above that of every Jew. When he wasn't persecuting the latter, he took to the matter of stroking the former, ruffling their little tufts. If I could get the time off work, I'd personally go and stand outside Crufts and point out every Nazi in attendance. You there with the Shih Tzu, Nazi. You there with the poodle, Nazi. And you with the bitch on freeze. Me, your dog, a mongrel riddled with fleas, or even a thoroughbred. You are a Nazi. Such is the life of the, how should I put this, fan of Vegemite, every time we're toe-to-toe with a downright Clarksonite, or reading some kind of horrible online tirade. Oh, trust me, our night is always made when we're compared to the biggest blight on the human race. Should I compare thee to Kim Jong-un simply for having a face? Should I compare thee to Putin for simply once putting on a suit and walking into a room? Well, the thing is, my suggestion isn't actually as complicated as you'd assume. You see, I'm not expecting you to stop taking the piss. We are, to be honest, the bane of every barbecue. We're the twats in every subway queue. We're the reason you roll your eyes at Christmas, and frankly, even I don't know what quinoa is. We just have one question. Could you slightly change your policy? If you want to make us feel bad, please compare us to Morrissey. Thank you. Okay, I'll do a bit of the soppy as fuck one now. Yeah, this is a poem about brothers, be they chosen or biological. And I'm going to devote this to two people that couldn't be with us tonight, Ralph and Matthew. They're not dead, they're in Yorkshire. And contrary to popular belief, it's not the same thing. I'm not dead, mate, I'm just very pale. Okay, this is a poem called They Ain't Heavy. To draw on the wall with my lipstick, to face my copies of Melody Maker, to march into my room, hold up one of my tampons and shout, "What the hell is this?" There was no one. To cajole me into buying him fags when he couldn't even grow a beard, to nudge me and say, "My mates are coming over, will you promise me you won't be weird?" And you embarrassed me, it's all you ever do, and poetry's shit, and so are you, and I hate you, and I wish you'd fucking die. To cry onto my lap because what's-her-face said, "Let's just be friends," while we listened to my copy of the Bends. There was no one. But I can't move for brothers now. They're everywhere. Some of them have explained the offside rule to me, even though I never asked. Some have taken up the gargantuan task of pulling my corset far too tight. Most of them have stayed up with me supposedly for one night and 3 days later taken their leave, and all of them, despite the fact that she asked them not to, call my other Mother Eve. Some of them have drawn on my face with their lipstick, reminisced with me about Melody Maker, and one by one they marched up to my pain and said, "What the hell is this?" 'Cause they ain't heavy. Thank you. So then, it's as inevitable as the ticking of the clock, as the high winds at the dock, the mysterious sliver of rock in your sock, the brand new bus stop daubed 5 minutes later with a massive drawing of a cock. Lighten up. It's just a bit of fun. It's just a broken heart for the sake of a pun that's badly made, laboured over for days, and mostly just badly paraphrasing Ricky Gervais. Nicely done. 2 thumbs up for you. Oh, it appears my sides have split. Now excuse me while I kiss the stitches. Sorry, sarcasm's the first language of the race of raging bitches, and it's the only response I can manage with 0 collateral damage. They always look into your eyes with such conviction, so sure they have good intentions. They come in their hordes with the prettiest dresses, with the warmest laughs, with the coolest stories, with cupcakes, with world's best grab on the side of their cup. Lighten up. I'm just making conversation. It's just a broken heart for the sake of a gag. Well, bravo. And behold your bag of burning witches. Smile, pause, applause. Now excuse me while I kiss the stitches, because honestly they're not healing all too well. The button on the laughter track snapped off a while back. I've only brought one album to the party, and sorry, it's Man in Black, so strap on in for a really empty dance floor. Smile, pause. Applause drowns out the sound of a loaded gun. Lighten up, goth, it's just a bit of fun. It's just a household of heartache, all for the sake of a piss take and a bad taste at the end of your tongue. Well, soon I will succumb to the gag reflex, unable to drown out the sound of sickness with promises of pretty things and unrealistic sex. And I'm sorry that I'm a downer, but my sense of humour just isn't beat ready yet. I cannot lighten up, and I will not forget. Thank you. Okay, this one's for the people of Manchester, because you really, really helped me, right? I discovered I had a condition when I was 15 years old, and I felt very, very alone back in Halifax. But when I moved here, I built up a very big support group of people that had this problem too. And for those of you that don't share my condition, I just want you all to know that there is nothing wrong whatsoever with being a Depeche Mode fan. I can't take the piss out of Believers. I can't mock the screaming fans outside a One Direction gig because they have a big advantage on me. They are kids, and I am fucking 30. And to be honest with you, every time I read this poem, I feel increasingly dirty. But it's got to the stage where I have to tell you now, I don't just like Depeche Mode, I am a fangirl. I've got more records than I've got pairs of socks, so much merchandise, it doesn't need its own box, it needs its own shelf. And I keep myself to myself through conversations about war, politics, the horrible things said about the lack of meat in my diet. I really, really do try it. But then it comes across more than brazen, more than brush. No, Personal Jesus was not written by Johnny Cash! I try and be calm, I try and be stable, I really, really do, but cut me in half and the rings of my tree stump just say Sado through and through, because I am a dribbling, borderline, psychotic fangirl. And frankly, mate, why aren't you? Thank you.